If you've ever dreamed of a garden that practically takes care of itself, producing fresh food year after year, then you're in for a treat. I'm talking about what I like to call neglect-proof crops, resilient plants that keep giving, even if life gets busy or your gardening schedule slips. On my channel, Soil Power, I often share tips and tricks to make your garden more productive with less stress, and today I want to dive deep into a secret that can literally feed you for life. These crops aren't just robust, they're sustainable, adaptable, and incredibly forgiving. Paired with a little soil-smart magic in the form of fermented plant juice or FPJ, these plants can transform your garden into a self-sustaining, nutrient-rich oasis. And the best part? This method is beginner-friendly, but seasoned gardeners will also find ways to supercharge their yields. So grab a cup of tea and let's dig in. When I say neglect-proof, I mean plants that thrive even under minimal care. They recover from pruning, tolerate inconsistent watering, and often resist pests naturally. These aren't your one-season wonders. Think of plants that provide leaves, fruits, or seeds continuously, or, at least reliably, so that you always have something to harvest. Some classic examples I use in my own garden include moringa comfrey, sweet potato leaves, perpetual spinach, and perennial herbs like oregano, thyme, and lemon balm. These plants grow back quickly, tolerate a range of soil conditions, and provide a rich source of nutrients. They're perfect for gardeners who want high yields without constant maintenance. Neglect-proof crops are more than just hardy. They're efficient. They feed the soil as much as they feed you. Comfrey, for instance, has deep roots that pull nutrients from the subsoil, which can then be returned to your other crops when you make compost or FPJ. These are the plants that make a garden truly sustainable. Here's where the magic happens. Fermented plant juice, or FPJ, is a natural liquid fertilizer made from fresh, nutrient-rich leaves that have been fermented with sugar. It's like a concentrated energy drink for your plants. FPJ is packed with micronutrients, growth hormones, and beneficial microbes that help plants grow stronger, recover faster, and produce more. Different crops produce FPJs with slightly different nutrient profiles. For example, comfrey FPJ is high in potassium, which encourages flowering and fruiting, while moringa FPJ is rich in nitrogen and growth-promoting hormones that create lush, vigorous foliage. By testing FPJs from different plants on the same crop, you can discover which one boosts your garden the most. This is a practical, hands-on approach that I love to share on Soil Power because it's simple, scalable, and incredibly effective. You don't need expensive fertilizers or complicated formulas, just your garden's own bounty. Let me walk you through how I make FPJ so you can start using it in your own garden. Don't worry if this is your first time, I'll keep it straightforward. First, choose your crops for FPJ. Let's say we're comparing comfrey and moringa. You'll want about 1 kilogram of fresh, healthy leaves for a small 10 square meter plot. Always harvest leaves sustainably. Cut a few stems, leaving enough for the plant to continue growing. Alright, so next, chop the leaves finely. This really helps the fermentation process by giving microbes more surface area to work on. Then, add sugar in a 1-to-1 ratio by weight to the leaves. The sugar basically feeds the microbes that break down the plant material into a nutrient-rich juice. Some gardeners, add a little water to make the mixture easier to stir, but honestly, that's optional. Now, place the mixture in an airtight container and let it ferment for about 5 to 7 days at room temperature. Make sure to stir it daily so it ferments evenly. You'll know it's ready when it develops a pleasant sweet-sour aroma. You see some bubbles, and it takes on a deep green color. The fermentation process really unlocks nutrients and transforms the leaves into a bioactive liquid your plants will love. Once it's fermented, it's time to dilute your FPJ. The correct ratios here are crucial. For foliar sprays, dilute 1 part FPJ to 500 parts water. For soil drenching, dilute 1 part FPJ to 1,000 parts water. For example, in a 100 square meter garden, you might use roughly 200 milliliters per plant for foliar applications. Always apply FPJ to healthy, actively growing plants for the best results. When I apply FPJ, timing and method matter. I prefer to use it in the morning or late afternoon when the sun isn't too strong. This prevents leaf burn and, ensures the plants can absorb the nutrients efficiently. Foliar sprays are perfect for quick absorption, while soil drenches feed the roots and improve soil microbiology over time. I typically apply FPJ every 7 to 10 days during the growing season. This gives my plants a steady supply of nutrients and keeps them thriving. One of my favorite experiments is comparing FPJs from two different crops on identical plants. On one side, I'll spray Comfrey FPJ, and on the other, Moringa FPJ. Within weeks, you can see differences: leaf greenness, plant vigor, and flowering or fruiting rates. This hands-on approach is not just educational, it's fun and, honestly, highly rewarding. The beauty of using FPJ is that you can literally watch your plants respond. Keep a simple journal or, hey, take photos to track growth. Note the height, number of leaves, flower development, and overall plant health. Over time, you'll see which FPJ works best for your crops, and even which crops to prioritize for your forever harvest garden. I recommend starting small if you're new to FPJ. Just, test 1 or 2 crops and observe how your garden responds. Once you get the hang of it, you can scale up and experiment with other perennial or neglect-proof plants. This iterative process ensures you always get accurate, actionable information tailored to your own garden conditions. If you're building your forever harvest garden, these are my top picks. Moringa. It's fast-growing, packed with nutrients, and produces leaves almost year-round. Its FPJ is a nitrogen powerhouse for leafy growth. Comfrey. It's just incredible for potassium and soil enrichment. Harvest leaves sustainably, and it'll keep giving. Perfect for fruiting plants. Sweet potato leaves are edible, really resilient, and they produce a highly digestible fermented plant juice that, honestly, can boost overall plant health. Perpetual spinach thrives in partial shade and, it doesn't bolt easily. It's just great for continuous leaf harvest. Perennial herbs like oregano, thyme, and lemon balm may be small, but they're mighty. Their fermented plant juices are packed with micronutrients and essential oils, which can even help deter pests. Including a mix of these plants in your garden, it really ensures a constant harvest and a continuous supply of FPJ to feed your other crops. Beginners often get discouraged by delicate plants or inconsistent yields, but these neglect-proof crops are forgiving. They recover from mistakes and still produce food, and FPJ just amplifies this by giving even the most tired or stressed plants a nutrient boost. Now, experienced gardeners will definitely appreciate the precision. Using FPJ allows you to experiment with ratios, track growth scientifically, and push yields even higher. This is not just about survival, it's about optimizing your garden for maximum sustainable output. By combining resilient crops with FPJ, you're essentially creating a garden that works smarter, not harder. Your soil improves, your plants thrive, and your harvests keep coming, all with minimal fuss. Your garden doesn't have to be high maintenance to be productive. With the right mix of neglect-proof crops and a steady application of FPJ, you can create a self-sustaining, nutrient-rich garden that feeds you for life. Remember to experiment with different FPJs, observe your plants carefully and adjust ratios to your garden's unique conditions. Document your results and treat your garden like the living, breathing system it is. With patience and attention, you'll soon see the forever harvest in action. If you enjoyed this guide, be sure to subscribe to Soil Power for more practical, hands-on gardening tips. Share this article with fellow gardeners, and let's build a community where our gardens thrive. Even when life gets busy, your forever harvest is waiting. Let's grow it together.